think a lot of people have been unknowingly downplaying Smoke in Mortal Kombat 1, myself included. Don't worry, I will meme on myself for my past takes on Smoke. We will also look at the poll I put up yesterday asking you guys if you thought that Smoke was way better than people thought because of the recent matches and big upsets that we've seen in Pro Kompetition that started this weekend at East Coast Throwdown. But before all that, of course, we are going to look at our community art, which it had to be Smoke, like it had to. And it's Smoke showing us the whole freaking bakery back there. He's got cupcakes for everyone, if you know what I mean. Some freaking awesome art, some really cool skins that I wish they would give the dudes as well in this game. But hey, why do we ask for skins when the game isn't even finished? And we're still waiting for them to fix Melina's bugs, game-breaking bugs that cost people games. Do we forget about those? Alright, anyways, I digress. If you want to go like or repost this art, I will leave a link to the artist's Twitter in the description of the video as always. So I'm going to have to clown myself because I made a video talking about how it was easy to beat a Smoke in the Combat League. And however, I think I made some good points when it comes to scrubby Smokes, you know, people who just use his specials, right? But that definitely does not apply to good Smokes, and I think even when it comes to my tier list that I made, the tier list video, I also greatly underestimated a lot of things about him. I will have footage of the Pro Kompetition running in the background, the match between Scar and TheWayneNumber1. Now, I didn't know this player at all going in, so I'm not sure if he even like played MK11 because I didn't follow the last few years of the MK11 competitive scene, and everyone expected Scar to take this, but man, Scar himself was flabbergasted by this Smoke. Maybe he's just a matchup that he's not used to, you know. This game is still, you know, in its early stages, of course. And I don't want to take anything away from Scar because he is an amazing player. He's proved that time and time again. But TheWay is also an amazing player. He played so freaking well. It was one of the most fun sets I have seen in Pro MK since, like, I don't know, MKX, dude. He was such a joy to watch. And the next Smoke match was between BigdadyG and Gur, who was playing Geras, and I think Gur was definitely way more used to this matchup, and he almost won. You know, it was a pretty close match. But watching those matches and even watching them back this morning, I think there's a lot we can take away, and I think I personally have identified why I had downplayed the Smoke so much, because there is just some things that we didn't know. We had a lack of information. So the one thing that made me say that a Smoke wasn't that great is because his low starter string that goes low overhead could be full combo punished if you up block it, and it was really easy to up block, right? It's not like Melina's 1-2 where you have to flawless block it, which arguably for people like us, you know, for casuals, it's a bit harder to do. But of course at pro level they're always going to hit that flawless or almost. And I was saying it wasn't a big deal for Melina because she can just stagger it, she can just, you know, bait a punish and then punish herself, right? That was very biased of me because when it came to Smoke, literally his string is pretty much the same thing, right? Because you can full combo punish it, but if you bait it, right, if you stagger it, if you try to fish for a whiff punish, it's the same thing with Melina, right? You should not use that string on block, but you should bait it. And just like I don't think it is a big weakness for Melina, I mean, sure, it is a weakness, I don't think it is that big of a deal for Smoke either, because they both have other tools that do help them overcome that, right? So that was the first thing that I definitely downplayed when it came to Smoke, because sure, bad Smoke players will not stagger, will not try to fish for a punish bait or try to bait it, right? But the good pro players, they definitely will do that, and I think we saw it here, right? It wasn't a problem for TheWayneNumber1 at all, dude. He just went in. Now, the other big thing I think that we didn't realize, or that I personally didn't realize, is that sure, Smoke's mix is pretty slow, and all of it is punishable on block, right? But one, try reacting to that stuff online. It's nearly impossible. It is so hard. Maybe it's because I'm old, but I cannot physically react to his back two, which is his overhead. When he's invisible, sure, he spends meter to become invisible, But you can't even see his mix. How can you possibly react to mix that you can't see? It's literally impossible, you know, unless they do it in the corner, which is pretty easy to anti-air him when they do that, which we did see in the match between Scar and TheWayneNumber1. Sorry, I think I said the Way in the beginning of the video. I'm an idiot. I'll just call him TheWayne. And I think that is what makes him an actual threat, because he still gets some pretty good damage, right? His jump 1 went 2 does so much damage. I don't know why, dude. But you can still invest some meter in going invisible. The thing is, the benefits greatly outweigh the risk, because sure, they can guess right, but they have no visual cue to go off of, and they have no sound cue either. They just have to guess and think of what you are going to do, of how you've been playing his mix, and they might guess right. However, because you can't see him, because you can't distinguish between the sounds of his special that he's doing, you don't know where he's gonna hit. Not only that, as I said, online it's so hard to even react to the mix. Of course, offline it's another thing entirely. We saw Gur react to the overhead like almost every single time, right? But ultimately, I think there is a reason that Smoke has the weaknesses that he does have, because without them he would be super broken. But the last thing I want to talk about is the cameos, because sure, I made a tier list and everyone made tier lists based on the character's default kits, you know, just the character, no cameos included. And there is some validity in that. There's some value in knowing if a character's like default tools are good or not. However, this game is not 1v1, you know, cameos make all the difference. If you look at Smoke's tools and you're like, okay, well, it's a bit underwhelming, right? But then you give him a good cameo like Sector, like Kung Lao, then he gets so freaking insane to deal with. With Kung Lao, you get hard to blockables, low overhead. With Sector, you can cover Smoke's gaps with his missile, right? So I do think that going forward, we should definitely make tier lists based on the best cameo for that character, because sure, sometimes your cameo meter will run out and you'll have to rely on the base character's own tools, right? But the recharge isn't that long unless like your cameo gets hit or whatever. But still, the game is balanced, or you know, unbalanced around these cameos. So personally, I think these are all the reasons why we have been downplaying Smokes unknowingly. But I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. If you have seen some high gameplay footage of Smoke, if you have been watching the Pro Kompetition of Mortal Kombat 1 this weekend, let me know your thoughts about Smoke down below. And I am committed to really learning him now, since I know Melina pretty well and I feel comfortable with her. So expect some guides on him coming up very soon. Other than that, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at VSlayerMK, all in one word. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all very soon.